Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, this has just arrived. UPS have just dropped it off at Castle Moorlander. You've seen from the thumbnail, inside this box, I've checked inside just to make sure it is Suunto's update to one of my favourite watches. So this is the Suunto Core and this is the Suunto Core version 2. I know you guys have been waiting for this, so I wanted to make some content. So this is going to be genuine, warts and all, unboxing and first impressions to their new watch. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, so let's stop me waffling. Let's turn the camera around, we'll nip into Castle Moorlander, and yeah, let's have a look at the Suunto Core version 2. Okay, so I've got my OG Suunto Core here as well. Now I've covered up my name on the front because I don't want people coming around and steal my washing off the line. But yeah, here inside is the new packaging. Now the packaging's changed quite a bit. The original packaging for the Suunto Core was this kind of big thing. I know with a lot of companies they're trying to reduce packaging now, so that all makes sense. Here's your information on the back, you got App Store, all that sort of stuff, because this new version does have Bluetooth, so if you want to connect it to your phone you can do. For me, I'm not going to do that. I want to have the most out of the battery that I could possibly get. So butterfly's open, there's a little bit of a thank you in there from Suunto. There's the box, open this up, and there is the watch itself. Come on, let's get this out of here. So it just sits in there. The way that they've done it is they've made sure to keep the actual face away from the straps. Now, first thing that I really do like about this is the fact that this now has lugs. So the original watch, it doesn't have what you'd call traditional lugs. So you're kind of stuck with some of the bands, or at least the options that you had for bands. This is the third band that I've had for this. Historically, Suunto straps have been just absolutely shockingly bad, which is one of the things that I think they've addressed. But if you wanted to put another one on here, it's a hell of a lot easier to be able to swap that now. So I do like that. But looking at the face, so the face on the OG Suunto Core, the bezel around it's a little bit more reflective, so it got quite a, I wouldn't say a high polish to it, but the one on the newer one, still both stainless steel, this has more of a matte finish to it, which I do like. And I'll also say these buttons seem to be nicer as well. Not that the other buttons are bad, but when you push these in, there's almost like a mushiness to it whilst pushing these in, whereas these have a really nice click to it. And then you've got the bezel, which will move in both directions. So we'll turn that on in a minute. This is one thing that I think might come back and bite Suunto with the Suunto Core 2, and that is the original one. The battery's on here, and in the original one the battery would last roughly about 12 months, or at least they go up to 12 months. You never really get 12 months out of it. It's usually, I don't know, 10 or 11. But to be able to change the battery, I know it's not toolless, but I would consider this to be toolless, mainly because on the back here, you just needed a pound coin. You could do it with a 1 pence coin. I guess if you're in Europe, you could use a euro, or the US, you could use $1 or a quarter. Anyway, so you could take this out. You didn't need anything. If you were out in the field, if you were out adventuring and the battery stopped, you could just drop in a new battery and then, yeah, you'd be good. With the new Suunto Core 2, they've moved away from that. They've got these 4 small screws here that you definitely have to have a tool. So is the tool, let's see if we can find the tool. Okay, it's not in that bit. Here's some extra bits. So that's just instructions. No, you telling me that there's no tool? Okay, I can't unless I've completely missed it, there is no tool. So what they've provided you with is, no, that can't be right. What's this? Getting started. There's your straps, some stickers. Okay, at this point, I can't, it's not, unless I've been an absolute idiot and I just can't see it, it's not sellotaped in or it's not put anywhere else, I can't see a tool. So the only way to get this back off is to have a small, it looks like a Phillips head screwdriver to be able to take this off. Now what it does mean is, because of how you can get this on, and there's a chance that you might misthread it, or just being able to get it on with a coin. If I'm right in saying the original depth for this was 30 meters. In fact, let me just double check because I have got it on here. The original depth for swimming was 3 atmospheric pressures, which is 30 meters, whereas on the new one it's now 10 atmospheric pressures, which is 100 meters. So it does mean that you're getting more protection from this, but if you need to be able to change this, if you're out in the wilds, you better have took some extra batteries with you. And yeah, so that's slightly disappointing. Now okay, so straight away the strap feels a hell of a lot better. Let's just get this on. Now these are, yeah, so they're easy to be able to replace. These are just the quick replaceable ones. You can push it in there like that, put that in. Oh, always good fun when you're trying to do this on camera. There's one. There's two. So yeah, one of the things that they have been clear in the way that they've talked about this new watch is the fact that, so the original strap, this had an elastomer strap, and the new one does have a silicone strap, but it's very similar to some of the other ones that they have. So you pass it through, and then you've got one of these pins, and that will just push through onto the back there. Yeah, I'll put this on in a minute. Right, now let's find the startup. Right, so getting started. Probably shouldn't need to read the instructions. Long press, top button. Let's do this. Now, let's have a look. Mainly because one of the other things that was sometimes a bit of a pain, especially on the original one, was the readability from certain angles. I'd say it's similar. Definitely similar. If you were hoping that this is going to be like Casio's MIP display, it's not that. Now, as far as your buttons are concerned, let's just double check. So your buttons, top right here is the lock and the light. Bottom left here is your back button, and then you've got up and down, and then at 3 o'clock here, this is kind of your set or mode. So we are going to want to have this in English. Per app, no, I'm not bothered about that by now. Metric, definitely want metric. Yep, want 24 hours because I'm going to be using this. I'm not going to be giving it to a child. Year, month, day, 27th. Let's see if we can go backwards. Yes, we can. Set. Oh right, okay, hours. Okay, so we are 15:10. I like that they beep, but I will probably turn that off. Seconds, let's just keep it at that. Okay, where am I? I am not in Latin America, I'm in Europe. I am not in Russia, I'm in Western Europe. Let's find my closest city on here will probably be, so Birmingham's not on there. Manchester is my closest. So that will now set, that will give me the information that I need about sunrise and sunset. So on the front here, so the original front, the hours and minutes are definitely larger. I'm just trying, actually, do you know what? I take it back. Now that this is fully on, the viewing angle on the Suunto Core 2 is that it is a little bit better. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get, although it doesn't look good for you guys, I'm trying to get some glare on the screen at the same time. And with the glare on the screen, then the Suunto Core 2 does actually have the better display on here. Now that could be a difference in things. It could be the lens on the front. It could just be the amount of backlight, or I'm in a reasonably well lit room at the moment. But yeah, I'm happy that this one does look a little bit better. But the hours and the minutes, the digits for them definitely seem appear larger on the Core 2. Maybe only by a millimeter or two, but they definitely do. Now on the Core, you just had that one display here in the middle, and then beneath there, I hope this is coming through well on the camera. Oh, that's probably better there. But you then had this bar underneath the bottom. So with the Core 2, you've got your display at the top, and then you've got your actual bits at the top there. So there's the light. Now with this one, so on the original Core, you had either it's just a green backlight, whereas on the Core 2 you have either a green or a red light, dependent on how you're using this. This will have been designed specifically for military use, so that's one of the things that they made sure they put on there. But before at the bottom here, you'd have your day and date, which is how I have mine. But now I can have day and date, and I could also have seconds down here at the bottom. So how do I change these? Right, so here at the bottom, this one, so we've now got sunrise and sunset. We've now got the battery, classing that battery now as full, which is at 96%. What you also get with the Suunto Core 2 is it will give you a low battery reading. So if it is that you do know that you're going away, which I guess is more useful on this than it was on the original one, that could just go at any point. At least, let's say if you're down to 75% and you know you're going to be away for 2 or 3 months, then you can change your watch. So I do like that they've added that. And then we're back round to day and date, and the seconds down at the bottom. So that's the backlight. The up doesn't do anything. If I hold the backlight down, it does the same. So with the backlight, you can hold that down for a few seconds and it will turn on the lock function. It's one of the best ways for the original Suunto Core to be able to preserve your battery a little bit longer. It's a little hack, but all you have to do is just put on the lock on it, and you'll find that you won't go on to some of those other functions by accident, and then realise that they're the ones that sap your battery quite a lot. So let's turn that lock off. And then here in the middle, this is now where you'll be able to go through your ABC functions. So it's still an ABC watch. You've got altimeter, barometer and compass that's on here. So at the moment it thinks I'm 126 meters above sea level, which I think is just about right. No, actually, I need to double check that, but you'll be able to fix that. And then down at the bottom, it's got 29 degrees, which it probably is roughly about 29 degrees in Castle Moorlander at the moment. There we've got barometric pressure. So this also has the storm alarm on it. The storm alarm on this, I've used it a few times. It comes in handy if the pressure drops dramatically within such a short time period. It'll give you an alarm just to let you know that something might be coming in. So that's on there as well. And I guess with this as well, you can probably set that. And then there's your compass. Now, let's see if we can get this to do it. As you'll all know, this is one of the absolute pains with the original watch, is trying to get the compass to calibrate. One of the easiest ways to... Oh! Do you know what? That was actually genuinely a little bit easier than it was on the original one. So there you've got your compass on there, and then at the bottom, so you still have your time at the top. You've got your compass. It does give cardinal readings as well. And then underneath there, you've got your altimeter. Press that again. And what have we got now? Okay, so we've got some other ones. All right, so you can start climbs and you can register climbs, which I do. That's quite a nice function. So what do I do? I just... I do need to check how some of this works, but if it is that you're walking and you know that you're on a specific route, then you can set where you are now, and then you can kind of set where it is next. What's the next one do? Tools. Right. Okay. Well, that's a bit weird. But right. Okay, so the UI on this is a bit weird, I will say. So rather than before with the original core, so let's take the alarm off of here. Let's take what's off. So you'd press this button here on the side. You've got your how high you are. It's 150. So that's probably about right as it was before. There's your compass. You'd have these on here. When you press it again, it would go back round to the time mode. Apologies if I got that out so you couldn't see it. So there's there, and then it goes back around to the time mode. On this one, so you press here. We've got through these modes, and now it's taken me to the stopwatch and stuff and settings. Well, I guess in here you can then change some of these. So let's have what happens if I go next? So that puts me into there. Let's go back. Right, so you have to go into tools and then it will go all the way back round. So let's check some of these tools. So there's your countdown timer. And it looks like, so yeah, so you can change these. So you can start, you can stop. Is that a reset? Or do I hold it to reset? Clearly I need to have a play around with that. Oh, okay, you can set that backwards. But it looks like they've got some preset ones in there, all kind of 5 minutes. So you've got 1 minute, 3, 5, 10, 15, 30, 45, 60, and then it goes back round. So they've got some ones in there. The first one looks like it's a custom one, so if you need this for a specific time, it looks like you'll be able to set that. Let's go back. Stopwatch hopefully speaks for itself. Alarm, at the moment the alarm is off. It looks like there's just a single alarm on there, which is fine. I'm okay with that. And then settings. Settings, we've got date and time, sunrise, language, units, steps. So you can, this does have a step counter on here. So you can have a target for the day, looks like it. And then it will show you your actual count. So let's put that on for now. It looks like it's setting that, or at least it's thinking about it. Okay, so let's go back. Sync app, which I'm not going to do now. General. Sunrise. Oh, so that's where I was before. Altimeter, barometer. So if you want to set this, so if you've got a reference, if you are out in the hills and you know exactly where you are, then you can set that so that you can say, right, I know I'm at 270 feet or 200, whatever it is. Storm alarm, that'll be where you can turn your storm alarm on and off. And again, apologies if I keep getting this so that there's some glare on the screen. I'm trying to do it. Compass, probably the same. So with the compass you can set that whether you want it true north or magnetic north. Tones, button tones. Let's turn that off because that is actually annoying. Then we get to display, so it looks like the same. So as far as the light is concerned, you can change. Oh, okay. So you can change which button it is to turn that on. Raise for wake. So if you've already got 2, you can do that. And then this is where your color is. So you've got green or you've got red. I'm going to keep it as green for now. But there doesn't seem. Oh yeah, display. Just checking. It doesn't seem to have anything, unless I've missed it there. It doesn't seem to have anything that is like how long you can keep it going, or at least the light will turn on. Alright, so that looks like all of the settings on there, but to go to the top you have to make sure that you're all the way at the top to then go to, you have to go past set, you have to go back to these, make sure that you're on tools, because if I'm on countdown and I press this now, it won't go back. I have to make sure I'm on tools and then it will go back to the original. A UI is a UI. You just have to get used to it. I can see why they've made some of the decisions with that. And again, actually just holding this up and looking at the screen now, I can definitely see that this one is a little bit easier to read. Now, friend of the channel, shout out. So I'm just going to give this a rub. Friend of the channel, he sent his back. He'd only had it less than 24 hours. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking something, because he had it for less than 24 hours, and there was some dust on the inside of the lens, on the inside of the glass on the front. So he sent his back because he wasn't happy with that, because every time he looked at it, it's all he could see. I'm happy to say that there is, I've got a fingerprint here. Let's get rid of this fingerprint. I'm happy to say that there is the zero dust on mine. Now, as far as initial impressions, I do like these new buttons. The buttons feel better. There's a definite click in those buttons, whereas the buttons on the original, they just felt a bit mushy. I do like that this is now in matte. I've been very good to mine. I haven't scratched it as much as I know a lot of people have, but I do like the matte on here. Let's put this on just off camera for a second. Now I have a 7.5 inch wrist, so it's on, but I would say it's not the best for large wrists. But then saying that, it's on. It doesn't feel small. Let me just get this in the right position. Only time will tell on how this new strap works. I'll probably leave this on for the time that I'm reviewing this, so I'll give it maybe a month or so, and then I'll come back and I'll make some more content on my thoughts after a month or so. It seems okay, but I am 100% going to change this. Stu from Hawk Rigger straps, I'm definitely going to put one of those on here. But it does feel solid. It does feel nice. There's a little bit of give in it as well, which I think for when I'm at the gym, I think that'll be fine. The watch faces are, I believe, the same. This is a 49mm front back. I think this one was 50 or 51, so it's ever so slightly smaller, I believe. I'm trying to put this, it might actually be the same, I'm not too sure, I can't remember. Where you've got your 12 o'clock point on the bezel, so on the original one, these were little nubs that were 3D, you could actually feel them, whereas this, they've just been printed onto the bezel, which I think is nice as well. It makes it feel a little bit more sleeker. I don't know about this back. I'm really not too sure. The beauty of this, especially for military personnel, was the fact that you could change it with a coin. Now I guess they've tried to bypass that by saying you've now got an actual reading on here which will tell you how much battery, so you can prepare in advance. The fact that there's no tool. Now I will apologise if somebody says, Randy, you're an idiot, the tool was in this other section. Can I get... No, I can't get underneath that. If I've missed that tool, then I do apologise. That's totally my fault. This, as I mentioned, this is a completely warts and all first impressions look at it. The fact that if they have omitted putting that tool in here, I think that's strange. Not everybody has the luxury of being able to go to a dedicated watch store and say, can you change this battery? A lot of people liked this watch mainly because of how easy it was to be able to change the battery. Let me just grab. I guess if you're a tooly kind of dude, what we're looking at, I mean, I'm not going to change this now, but... So I could do it if I wanted to do it, but you'd have to make sure that you'd got something with you. Not too sure on that one. I do like the display on this one. The display does look... It's not, as I say, if you're expecting MIP display like Casio has, it's not that, which is a shame. But well, it is what it is, I guess, on that one. What was the other little bit that I was going to mention? Yeah, so I mentioned the strap, bit on the back. Oh, one of the other things I forgot to mention, so the glass on the front, the original glass was a mineral crystal, whereas on the newer version, this is a Gorilla Glass, which is nice. Gorilla Glass is used on a lot of mobile phones, just like this. It does mean that it will be less scratch resistant, but the harder the glass gets to resist scratches, the more prone it is to shattering if you were to hit this on something. So it's the same with all glass, I suppose. You just have to be careful with that. The weight feels roughly the same. I'll see if I can try and find the weight, and I'll put that here with the differences between the two. But yeah, let's put this on, let's get testing, let's wear it for a month or two, and I'll get back to you. So there you have it, the Suunto Core 2. In the time that I've gone from coming out of Castle Moorland back out into the yard, I was just thinking about, is there anything that I had, if there was a wish list that I wished they'd added, I think a little bit more battery life on this. It's gone from 12 months on the original up to 15 months on this one. Okay, it's a nice extra 3 months, but in the grand scheme of things, when they say 12 months, they actually mean about 10 or 11. So when they say 15, are we actually really looking about 12 or 13? Again, only time will tell with this. Keeping the lock on, using that little hack so it doesn't change between modes by accident, will mean that I'll get a little bit more life out of it. But one of the things I would have loved to have seen would probably be solar, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of you out there that would have liked solar on this, but I guess a lot of that comes back to costs. So as far as I picked this up and bought this with my own money, it hasn't been sent to me. It came in at £155 and then postage. So they've still managed to keep this very similar to the original Suunto Core. I think the original Suunto Core, I had a quick look this morning, they're still going for around about 110, 120, 130 pounds depending on the site that you go to. So they've still managed to keep it within that price range, but I'm guessing the omission again from not having solar on there would have helped to have keep those costs down. There would have been some implication on the size of the screen in there if they had to fit some sort of solar cell within there. I don't know what sort of technology they'd need to do that, but I guess that possibly would have been tricky. Now, all in all, first impressions, I'm actually quite happy with this. If I'm being honest, it feels like a Suunto Core 1.5 rather than a Suunto Core 2. Now, apologies if Suunto are reading or listening to this, because they've put in a hell of a lot of work to bring this out, which I guess in some respects it just feels familiar, which is nice, because you don't, if you're going from one to the other. I'm gonna have to get used to the UI and have a look around it a little bit more. I'm definitely not going to be connecting this to my mobile phone. You can do that Bluetooth onto it, which will then be able to give you other things for your step counts and other metrics that it'll be able to track. I'm just not going to do that. It's not a smartwatch, and it's never been designed to be a smartwatch. You're not going to be able to check your emails, and you're not going to be able to check who's calling you and answer, "Ooh, hello," Dick Tracy style. If you get that reference, yes, you're cool and old. It's never designed to be that. It's designed to be a stable ABC watch, almost a tool watch to some extent, and that's what they've kept it as. They've just added that feature because I'm sure some people would have liked it. If they'd have not added Bluetooth and added solar instead, I think more people would have been happier. But then that's just my opinion. I don't really know on that. But what I would like to hear is, let's hear your opinions below. Is there anything on this that you're glad that they've added, and equally, are there some things that you wish that they'd have added that do seem a bit of an omission? Again, I've still not been able to find the tool in here to take the back off, so I just don't think that they give it to you, which again, it just seems a bit strange considering the previous one was toolless. Or maybe their mindset is, well, if we give you the tool, you're guaranteed to lose it, which will make you more unhappy than remembering that you didn't have the tool for it in the first place. I don't know, maybe I'm just waffling there. Right, okay, yeah, so let's hear all your thoughts below in the comments. I'll leave some links if you want to pick one of these up. They're not affiliate links. I don't have any sort of affiliation with Suunto, although if you're watching this, Suunto, give us a call, that'd be nice. Yeah, so those links will be below. I'll leave some of my social media links below so you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC, my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Now today's piece of content was just a bit random. I wanted to get this out. A couple of reasons. I know you guys are wanting to hear about this watch, and secondly, if I'm the first one to get some content out on YouTube, that's always good. So yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise Monday content for the people that I definitely know want this. Now as usual, after the bloopers, we do have 2 channel members, so let's hear a good thanks, a huge thanks to the channel members.